Greetings, humans. I come in peace and with podcasts. Welcome to Pod Nation Media, home of the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Monster Island Film Vault, Cthulhu Jack Presents, and Films in Fermentation. All streaming exclusively on Roku. Business, monsters, whiskey, cinema, chaos. Your ears deserve better. Join Pod Nation Media before we probe your algorithm.
Movies and inebriation. It's a neon-soaked vibration, a liquid kind of liberation. Pop the lid and start the show. We got nowhere else to go. Turn the speakers up to 10, then we start it all again. Films and fermentation, movies and
And here we are again. Tonight's Films and Fermentation episode is called Wait, That Was Based on a Book? Because we are going to be looking at movies based on other media that you may or may not have known are based on something written. Again, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, number one beer podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. Tonight, we're looking at movies you probably assumed sprang fully formed from the mind of a screenwriter, only to discover they were hiding in a book, comic, memoir, or suspiciously short piece of fiction all along. This is not Harry Potter, where the source material arrives carrying its own theme park and gift shop. We're talking A History of Violence, Die Hard, Mean Girls, and other films that quietly snuck onto the screen wearing fake mustaches. Some of these adaptations are so different from the originals that calling them based on feels legally cautious. So pour a drink, judge a book by its movie poster, and prepare to say, wait, that was adapted from what? Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media podcast links. We are on the Pod Nation Media Network on Roku, on YouTube, and on Rumble. We are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members-only content. Yes, for $1 a month, you can get a copy of the novel that the Films and Fermentation podcast was based on.
Funny paper is what it was.
Yeah,
Funny
a
farm.
lot of funny farm. Yeah. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah.
We got a few things on our Patreon now for all you out there. If you want to join up, we got some adventures in podcasting, little mini cartoons that we do. We have Mike's Expedition Beer. We have some exclusive Leo Runs from Cryptids videos. We have our archive podcasts on there from the first 3 seasons, and the first episode of my new side podcast, Matinee and Me, where I review streaming plays. It's just dropped. The first episode is about the play Red, starring Alfred Molina, a very good play. So you can check that out by going to patreon.com/films and fermentation, or visit Teespring for our merchandise, or dial 904-867-4466 to text us directly. In the meantime, what are we drinking, gentlemen?
I'm going with a good, not an old fashioned, but a gin and tonic, because I needed something harder than beer tonight.
One of those weeks, sir.
One of those summers, sir.
One of those summers, I hear you. Mike, what do you got going on this evening?
I am going with Lenny Kugel's Lenny Lodge Lime.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, what is this? Where is it at? I gotta find it here. Where's the ABV? I can't find it. 4.7 ABV. That's where it is.
There you go. I did not feel like getting fancy tonight. Plus, because I thought we weren't starting till later this evening, I wasn't prepared to begin with. So I just grabbed a good old Sam Adams Summer Ale out of the fridge. And when I finished that one, I have a second one locked and loaded. So let's play some music this evening.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
In 1928, test footage is first created for Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie featuring Mickey Mouse.
Something we have talked about. I think we've played pieces of Steamboat Willie on the show before.
Probably.
You can now without being
Yeah. I believe the Twisted Childhood Universe is doing a Steamboat Willie themed horror film now.
Sad.
Next one, sir.
1932, White Zombie, the first feature-length zombie film directed by Victor Halperin and starring Bela Lugosi, is released in U.S. Sorry, my glasses were in the wrong area.
It's considered the first zombie film ever. It's kind of more like the like Haitian zombies, like people are like brainwashed and all that. Hold on, sir. Okay, so I was saying the White Zombie, considered the first zombie film. It's a weird, like it's like the brainwashed zombies, like the Haitian zombies, not the undead zombies. You know, the first undead zombie film is considered by most to be Night of the Living Dead. But this is an interesting horror film as well.
you're crackling out again.
Yeah, you might want to change.
Oh,
All right, we're back here. I've been having some technical difficulties with my microphone. Hopefully, I don't have to edit too much out later on tonight. So, Mike, let's move on to the next fact there. Let her see.
1951, Walt Disney releases the animated musical film Alice in Wonderland, featuring Catherine Beaumont, Pat O'Malley, Edwin, and Sterling Holloway. Songs by Sammy Fain and Bob Hillard.
Fun fact about this, I didn't realize it before, but the voice of Wendy also was the voice, the voice of Alice was also the voice of Wendy in Peter Pan. Same actress.
And I think some of the same animation too, because I know they used to they would have people model and they would draw the frames around what the people were performing.
Mhm.
And then often they would use those same frames later on and just redraw characters over it.
Right.
Like if you look at like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, some of the dance scenes are exactly the same, just with different characters drawn over them.
Well, I heard Walt Disney use the same choreographer for the characters. They were able to, train under the same person. So
You got to think back then too, it probably saved time and money to just reuse old frames as well. So next one, sir.
In 1954, On the Waterfront, directed by Elia
Kazan.
Yeah, Kazan. Thank you.
Mhm.
And starring Marlon Brando and Eva Marie Saint, is released. Academy Award Best Picture 1955.
If we ever do the monologue episode, this is definitely on there.
could have been somebody. It could have been a contender.
Not
This
a
was
bump.
actually filmed nowhere near a waterfront.
It actually was filmed on a waterfront. It's about union dock workers, so yes, it's on a waterfront. It's a very good movie. I suggest you watch it if you've never seen it before.
And especially don't make up false information about it because you'll get called out on it.
Yes, it's also best actor for Brando for this film as well.
Is this the one that made him the cocky son of a bitch?
Yeah, pretty much, because he was. I mean, he was already a major star in Hollywood at the time, and then like this cemented him for the next 30 years. All right, Mike.
1967, the film In the Heat of Night, based on John Ball's novel of the same name, directed by Norman Jewison, and starring Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger, premieres in New York and wins 5 Academy Awards in 1968, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Steiger.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Next one, sir.
In 1999, The Sixth Sense, starring Bruce Willis, Toni Collette, and Haley Joel Osment, premieres.
Great movie.
I'm kind of debating whether or not this one belongs on the list for next week. So, like next week's episode, we're going to be looking at actors and directors who had major success in their first film and then kind of fell off the radar. Shyamalan kind of fell off, but then kind of came back with Split.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like
I mean, this is the one. You say his name, this is a movie that people think of.
But then I think of like Haley Joel Osment, he's still acting pretty steadily, but nowhere near the success he had as a child actor.
No.
And so, I wonder if that would be something that would go on the list for it. Next one, sir.
2001, The Princess Diaries, starring Anne Hathaway in her film debut, featuring Julie Andrews and directed by Gary Marshall, premieres at El Capitan Theater in Hollywood.
I believe she's making a third one. Because why not? You got to make sequels 30 years after the first.
Isn't that somebody should be on your list, Anne Hathaway? Because she hasn't done nothing since that movie.
Oh yeah, zero success. She's getting an Oscar nomination for The Odyssey. I guarantee it. Oh, speaking of Shyamalan.
Yes, in 2002, American filmmaker M. Night Shyamalan, sci-fi horror thriller Signs, starring Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix.
I did not mind Signs. I mean, if I had to break down this director, this is one that I could watch again.
I saw it in the theater because this is back, like he was still the man, like when this movie came out, and it's some really good jump scares, especially in the theater.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, it's pretty good. But then like you watch it again, and as you think about it, you start to find those plot holes. And then you start to realize like this is kind of where he started to fall off a little bit, because then he did The Village, which is good, but also has a lot of plot holes. And then after that, he did The Happening. Then he did Lady in the Water, The Happening, and then it was like
I prefer The Village over
Signs. I prefer The Village over Signs as well.
I do. I like The Village. I actually like The Village.
Yeah.
Did The Village come out before Signs? I think it might have been The Village, then Signs, because he worked with Joaquin Phoenix in both films, and I think The Village was first. But I like The Village. I thought that I like that one. I do. I would prefer that over Signs. But again, it's like this is the start of Shyamalan's decline.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear some beer news this evening.
Kevin's here, he's here for beer. He's got news, it's beer news with Kevin.
It's a slow week in beer news, my friends. Upon doing my research, as I do so diligently and earlier on in the week, the only things that were really popping up is a brewery whose license is in limbo based on their wanting to give out free beer if the president were to die, or a relationship between a quarterback and someone whose last name was Beer, and they just got engaged. And I don't even know if that's Beer. I think her name's
Justin Herbert, who's the quarterback for the Chargers, and pop singer Madison Bear, they got engaged this week. Yeah.
Okay. So. But there's nothing beer related, right?
Nothing beer related. Her name is Beer. Yeah.
Okay. So instead, I bring you this. This is Rheingeist Brewery becomes the official hometown beer partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. If you hear crying in the background, that's my son.
Yes, I
The
heard it.
Cincinnati Bengals have a new hometown beer sponsor. Rheingeist announced Thursday that it's teaming up with the Bengals to become an official hometown beer partner, just as training camp. Sorry about that. Just as training camp for the 2026 season. It's a professional podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We do. I have it all set up. For the 2026 season is getting underway. To celebrate, Rheingeist Truth will be available in limited edition 12 and 24 packs so fans can enjoy an official IPA of the Bengals. Rheingeist is also reminding fans of its Bengals watch parties this season, which will be in the Rheingeist Tap Room on Elm Street. Everybody got that? Elm Street. The journey of our brewery is about Cincinnati because it's this community that has supported us every step of the way. Having the chance to be an official hometown beer partner with the Bengals is a privilege that couldn't have been possible without the hustle of our employees and the loyalty of our fans. Showcasing some of our favorite products to Who Day Nation through this partnership. Who Day. And I lost my place.
Most professional podcast on the
showcasing some of our favorite products to Who Day Nation through this partnership is something we could never have dreamed of 13 years when we opened our doors. Dana Cummins, self-distribution sales and sponsorship director of Rheingeist Brewery, said. As part of the partnership, the pregame festivities for the upcoming season will feature Bengals co-branded Rheingeist offerings. And that's that.
Thank you for that. Kev, what would movie updates be like if I didn't have an obituary?
Anything.
Yeah, this week I would like to say rest in peace to Glenn Hansard. He is an Oscar-winning musician and actor. He won the Oscar for Best Original Song for a song called Falling Slowly from the movie Once. It's a beautiful movie, beautiful song. I love the song. He died from injuries in a motorcycle accident this week at the age of 53. He is associated with 3 of my favorite movies to come out of Ireland. He is a musician and actor in the movie The Commitments, which is one of my favorite musical films. He stars in the movie Once, for which I said he won the Oscar for Best Original Song, and he was behind some of the songs for the film Sing Street, which are 3 amazing films that came out of Ireland. So I wanted to just mention that his passing this week. And I watched, or tried to watch, Shark and Soul Women's Prison Massacre. It was on Tubi, so I was like, all right, let's check it out. I made it through maybe 15 minutes before I decided to turn it off. I am, writing a new book right now, and I figured I wanted to conserve what brain cells I had left for that and not kill them watching Shark and Soul Women's Prison Massacre. The most unbelievable part of the movie in the 15 minutes I watched wasn't the prehistoric sharks living in swamp waters in Arkansas. It was the fact that the female prisoners were allowed to wear see-through tight tank tops and denim Daisy Dukes while doing their work furlough. So I was like, that just strains all credulity. I can't watch this movie anymore. So, Mike, you have any must-try craft for this evening?
Yes, I have a must-try craft brew.
Must-cry draft?
Yeah. We're all going to cry just because, that movie we talked about. Gale's Prize Old Ale. Gale's Prize Old Ale is a legendary English old ale first brewed in the 1920s by George Gale and Company Ltd. in Horndean, Hampshire, famous for its long
maturation.
Yes, thank you. And bottle conditioning. It developed a distinctive vinous character that earned its comparison to Belgian lambic, despite being firmly rooted in the English Old Ale tradition. The beer was brewed in annual vintages and became highly sought after by collectors because it ages exceptionally well. Production continued after the brewery's acquisition by Fuller's, with the occasional revival releases in recent years. It's from England. The brewery is George Gales and Company. It is 9% alcohol by volume. Tasting notes are rich aromas of dried fig, raisins, dates, toffee, caramel, molasses, and dark fruit are complemented by subtle notes of oak, cherry, leather, and light tartness. A full body palate is smooth and warming, finishing with a complex blend of malt, sweetness, vinous character, and gentle oxidation that becomes more pronounced with age.
Yeah, I would say like every 4 out of 5 of these craft things you bring to us have something odd in the ingredients, and in this case, leather.
I got 2 books. One says 1,001 beers you must try. Another one's another 300 beers you must try. And
I'm not blaming it on you. I'm blaming it on whoever is the sadomasochist that wants leather in their beer.
Tastes of saddle.
Yeah. Has this leather been cured? It's a little salty.
Watch the warlock. I'm salting the leather.
Yeah. I am going to pause it here so we can take a quick break, and we'll be back with our main segment. All right, we are back from our quick little break to talk about our main segment. The main segment tonight, as we titled the episode Wait, that was based on a book, is we are looking at films that are based on novels, novellas, graphic novels, short stories, some other form of media. But we're not looking at super popular things like everybody knows Harry Potter is based on a book. And everybody knows, Jesus of Nazareth is based on a book.
The Odyssey is based on a book.
The Odyssey is based on a book, on a poem, yeah. But we're looking at books that are, or movies that are based on books that you may or may not have known actually, were out there. So we have 3 categories tonight. The I had no idea picks, the movies based on unexpected books, and the last category this evening is short stories that became much bigger movies. It takes a lot to take a short story and turn it into a 3-hour film, but Denis Villeneuve really knows how to do that with a short story, so we'll talk about that. The first one I have in the I had no idea picks is a film called A History of Violence. This movie stars Viggo Mortensen and Ed Harris. It's about Viggo Mortensen plays a mobster who is hiding out in a little Midwestern town where he is pretending to be some other guy. He has a whole family. He has this whole life. He's trying to get away from his violent past that he had as a Philadelphia mobster. And when he thwarts a robbery in the little diner that he owns, he gets his face on the news, and the mob finds out where he is, and they come after him, and you start to learn about his history of violence that he had when he was a mobster. It is a ultra-violent movie, but it's also a very human film because it's about, what is he really the person he is now, or is he the person that he was in the past? And there's a lot of conflict with him and his family when they find out about his past. And great cameo appearance by William Hurt as his brother at the end of the film. He actually got an Oscar nomination for 8 minutes of film work because he's so great in the scene that he appears in. But this film, not many people may know, is based on a 1997 graphic novel of the same name. It looks like a prestige crime drama when you watch the film, but it was actually adapted from a DC Comics imprint. So this is a DC film. Not part of the DCU, though. Although if it was, I would say this is probably the best movie they have in the DCU. This movie was nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It's a very, very, very good movie if you've never seen it. If you can stomach the violence, Kev, because it is some pretty intense violence in this film.
So Honestly, when I was reading this, I thought it was American History X, and I was like, "Oh God, I didn't know." And the whole jaw, on the
You
sidewalk
know
thing
what? There's a
came.
scene in this movie that's very similar to that one.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot better with my gore and my
Yeah.
graphic violence, but
Yeah.
I'd have to. I don't know. I'd have to make sure I had the blanket nearby to cover up my eyes.
It's one of those films though where like the violence kind of comes out of nowhere, so it's like hard to anticipate it. It's a really good movie though, very well acted, and I think American History X I think is based on a book as well. I think it might be. I don't know. That's one I should have been on the list, but I didn't come up in my research, so I don't know. But it could be. If somebody wants to look that up while I'm moving on to the next one here. Kevin's got that. Okay. Next one here is a film that we've talked about in the past. It stars Tom Hanks and Paul Newman. It is Road to Perdition, another film about a mobster trying to deal with his past. In this case, Tom Hanks is a mobster, a hitman working for Paul Newman. His family is murdered by Paul Newman's son, and he goes on a revenge tour, basically. Another film that was nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Paul Newman. Another film that's fairly violent, but does have some great performances from Tom Hanks, a great performance from Jude Law as a fellow hitman. Early performance for Daniel Craig, who plays Paul Newman's son in the film. And again, this is another film that many people might not know is based on a graphic novel. It's here we go. This one's published by Paradox Press, which is also a DC imprint. Therefore, Road to Perdition is part of the DCU. So, Kev, what do you got there? You looking it up?
I am. They don't have any tags saying it's based off of a book or even a short story. And I hear some, constant chatter about, having disagreements on the script and changes to the script. So I'm going to go with it's a original. It's a screenplay. Okay.
It's the kind of film that feels like it's probably based on something,
mm-hmm.
just because based on the content.
Yeah.
But, I know, Kev, I know you've seen Road to Perdition, right?
I have. I own it on DVD. It's a great movie.
Mike, have you seen Road to Perdition?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's a really good film. If you like Tom Hanks.
The one who plays Tom Hanks' son, the one that he goes on the road with, ends up being Superman and Superman and Lois, which is weird to say.
I can't think of the act. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the actor's name. But yeah, he ends up becoming Superman in one of the more recent Superman TV shows. Mm-hmm. Next one is one that I kind of discovered after the fact. I'm a fan of some South Korean movies and some South Korean filmmakers. And one of my favorite South Korean filmmakers made this movie. It's called Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer stars Captain America, Chris Evans. It's so this is a Korean production filmed in Australia, starring mostly English and American actors.
Didn't they come up with
There was a TV series.
There was a TV series with Jennifer Connelly.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie is directed by Bong Joon-ho. Yeah, Sean Bean was in that, yeah. The movie is directed by Bong Joon-ho, who is the Academy Award-winning director of Parasite. This is one of his first English-speaking films that he directed, but it's based on a French graphic novel called La Transpiscineige. I think that's how you say it. I have no idea. Published in 1982. It's an apocalyptic story, sci-fi story about a train that is built to travel the entire world, and the last remnants of society live on this train because the rest of the world is frozen over in some giant ice age. And Chris Evans leads a revolt the further up you go in the train, the more rich the people are. The further back you go, the more poor they are. And Chris Evans is in the final train with the poorest people. And he's leading a revolution to try to get to the front of the train and take it over. And the train conductor is played by Ed Harris in another adapted graphic novel film. I discovered it because I like this director. and some of his other movies. And when I saw that Chris Evans was in it, I thought, oh, I'm going to check this out. It's a really, really good movie.
Mhm.
Good sci-fi, like dystopian future sci-fi film. Chris Evans was really jacked because he was playing Captain America at the time, and he's supposed to be playing this really like gaunt, starving character.
He had heavy costumes. Extra large costumes.
He had like 13 layers of coat on, like the entire film, to try to hide the fact that he was super fucking jacked. Great movie, great fight scenes, some like real like weird, like unexpected twists and stuff. It's a really, really good movie. Next one on the list is stars one of Mike's favorite actors, Jim Carrey. He's shaking his head no. The Mask is based on a Dark Horse comic series. Dark Horse is also the comic company behind Hellboy, which I think more people probably know that's based on a comic than The Mask. The Dark Horse comic series, though, is very dark and very violent. Was not a cartoonish comedy like the Jim Carrey film. He's Loki, the god of mischief, but he's a lot more violent and it's like the comic is scarier, based on the film. Yeah, here you go. The source of the character was less Cuban Pete and more ambulatory felony. Mike, anything you want to say about The Mask?
It's probably one of the few Jim Carrey movies I can actually stomach, because The Mask makes him act stupid, not just being stupid.
Plus, it's the screen debut of Cameron Diaz. Yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. And let's talk about The Mask 2, Son of the Mask.
Why?
Why? I'd rather watch Shark and Soul Women's Prison Massacre again. Son of the Mask. And the last one I have on this list of I had no idea picks is Men in Black. The Men in Black movie starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are based on a little-known comic series by Lowell Cunningham, originally published by Aircell Comics, which was bought out by Marvel. So the Men in Black are a Marvel property.
So the Men in Black will return in
Avengers Doomsday. Yeah.
And then it's kind of I don't know. It came around full circle, because after the movie success, they came back to a Men in Black cartoon series.
That's right.
Series.
Yeah, that's right. Now the cartoon series is based more on the movie. The movie's based on, and again, like The Mask, the Men in Black comic series was a little darker and a little less like comedic. It was more like X-Files than it was like Will Smith, brand of comedy. Do you know who was supposed to play Agent K before Will Smith signed on? Agent J, rather. Agent K was Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Do you know? I'll give you a hint.
Keanu Reeves.
I'll give you a hint. I was going to say he's not black. And he's not Keanu Reeves.
Nicolas Cage.
I would love to have Nicolas Cage in Men in Black. Chris O'Donnell.
Oh.
Okay.
But Chris O'Donnell opted to do Batman and Robin instead.
Good choice. No, the reason why I said Keanu Reeves is because they were going for Will Smith for Neo at around the same time.
So. And I think Will Smith has said like he's kind of disappointed that he turned down that role after seeing like what it did for Keanu Reeves.
That's like the Denzel reaction to seeing Morgan Freeman in Seven.
Mm-hmm. Shit. Do you know who's supposed to play Morbius before Lawrence Fishburne signed on? Morpheus, sorry, rather.
Morpheus? Was it Pauly Shore?
That'd be great. You gotta wheeze the red pill. I got Kevin right at the right moment for that one. No, it was actually it was Val Kilmer.
You gotta take
We-
the red pill.
We sent the red pill.
You want to ride me down the hole.
All right, moving on. Movies based on unexpected books, starting with one of my favorite films, the Christmas classic Die Hard. Waiting to hear my wife in the other room go, "That's not a Christmas movie." This is the book that Mike's reading in the promo photo for this episode, Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe, which itself is a sequel to an earlier book called The Detective about John McClane, Detective John McClane. Now, the film adaptation was originally supposed to come out in the late 60s, early 70s, and Frank Sinatra had signed on to play the role of John McClane in the film version of Nothing Lasts Forever. That film fell through and didn't find its way back into the hands of a screenwriter until 1986, when John McTiernan turned it into the film that we all know and love that came out in 1987, Die Hard. But because Frank Sinatra was contractually offered the chance to play John McClane, they had to offer him the role before giving it to Bruce Willis.
Could you imagine if he said, "Yeah, I want to take that role"?
Now, Frank Sinatra, to his credit, was like, "I'm 68 years old."
Yeah,
Like-
motherfucker.
I would like to have seen him in the original, like 60s version, because this would have been coming off Manchurian Candidate and a lot of those films, and he's a pretty good actor. But yeah, if he said yes, that would have been great. Like Frank Sinatra's like, "Yeah, of course, it'll be a classic, baby." 68-year-old Frank Sinatra trying to get it on with Bonnie Bedelia.
Oh,
But he of course said no. He's like, "I'm too old. I appreciate the offer, but and they really wanted Bruce Willis. Like, he was the number one choice for the film at the time." Anything to say about Die Hard that we haven't said a million times already? This is where we're getting into some weird ones now, because some of these films are fictional films that are based on nonfiction material, starting with Mean Girls, which is based on a nonfiction parenting book by Rosalind Wiseman called Queen Bees and Wannabes, about adolescent cliques and social aggression. Tina Fey read it and said, "That's a teen comedy right there."
That's a comedy film.
And she adapted the screenplay from this nonfiction book, and it became like a survival guide for parents, but also like the go-to teen comedy of the last like 20 years.
And they just remade it as a musical, I think.
Yes, they remade it as a Broadway musical, and then I believe there was a film version of that musical that came
It
out
followed
recently.
the path of the producers.
Yeah, but didn't do as
The
well.
musical, the movie.
And I think there's a no, you know what? I was confusing it with Legally Blonde, because there's a Legally Blonde like prequel series that's on like Amazon now.
yes.
I like Mean Girls. It's a funny movie. It's not like one that like I watch all the time. I know like some of like students that I've taught in the past, like it's their like favorite fucking movie, but it's because they were in cliques like that. I remember we had a kid in school who got in trouble because she had a burn book like the characters in the film.
Oh, jeez.
This is my favorite one because I love this movie. First off, Kev, you showed me this movie for the first time. We watched this down the shore.
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect with Anna Kendrick. A funny movie, great music. I love the music in the film. I like Anna Kendrick to begin with. I think she's a fun actress.
Yeah.
But this is based on a nonfiction book called Pitch Perfect: The Quest for Collegiate Acapella Glory. Mickey Rapkin is the writer of this nonfiction book, which follows a group of acapella teams around the country as they seek glory, winning the collegiate championship.
And it's funny because I think maybe this movie got me into watching acapella groups in college. At the time, Pentatonics was making a big name for itself on the radio. I had heard a couple of things on Y100. They had an acapella group out of
U of Penn.
University U of Penn.
Yeah.
So I was.
I think it was like the
Cool.
popularity of this film, like I couldn't go on YouTube without finding a million a cappella group videos on YouTube. Like it just
And I
kind of
wasn't
made
a
it
big
very
Rebel
popular.
Wilson fan before, and I'm honestly I'm still not a huge Rebel Wilson fan, but she played a good character in this.
Fat Amy, whose real name is Fat Patricia. I'm doing horizontal running. And this also blew up this song. I got a ticket for the long way round. It became like a radio hit for Anna Kendrick. Yeah, I like Pitch Perfect. The second film was okay. The third film was shit. Again, it's one of those things where they were just trying to milk the money out of for what they could, because the second two films are more like slapstick comedy, whereas the first one's more like, just college comedy. Mrs. Doubtfire. I did not know this was based on a book beforehand.
No, it surprised me too.
Yes, some of these I knew. Like I knew the Pitch Perfect one because it comes up in the credits based on Mickey Rapkin's book, Mrs. Doubtfire, based on Anne Fine's children's novel, Madame Doubtfire. The premise existed well before Robin Williams turned every dinner scene into controlled demolition.
It was a run by fruiting.
Do you think there's a scene in the children's book where he lights his tits on fire?
Though, what it reminded me of, there's a children's book where a teacher is absent for the day, and there's a substitute that comes in and is like super harsh, super mean to the kids, to the point where they really want their original teacher back. And the teacher comes back the next day and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so good. She was so horrible." And the final page, it's like the substitute face was a mask that was in the trash can nearby.
Shit, I should have tried that when I was in high school. Thing is, the kids probably would have liked the substitute more than they liked me because I was pretty mean. Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams classic. One of the, I don't know if it's a Mount Rushmore film for Robin Williams, but it's definitely up there. Definitely a top tenner.
Yeah,
I love Mrs. Doubtfire. First Blood, the original Rambo film.
they drew first blood. It's not over. It's never over.
Based on David Morrell's 1972 novel, which presents Rambo and Sheriff Cecil far more darkly than the franchise eventually would. The film softens both Rambo and the ending considerably, because in the book, he commits suicide. It's basically death by cop. Yeah. He like threatens to shoot them so that they'll shoot him. And that's how the novel ends. I think that's how the original film ended too, but test audiences, of course, didn't like it, so they made them refilm it. Plus, how are they going to begin to make 8 more sequels after that if they killed them off? First Blood. First film's really good, but definitely different from the other Rambo films.
Oh,
Is it good enough to become a 80s Saturday morning comic cartoon?
No. The cartoon series is based more on Rambo 2.
Yes.
than it is on the original Rambo. The Rambo cartoon series is based more on him destroying entire armies with one magazine of bullets than it is based on him as a suicidal, PTSD suffering Vietnam vet. Next one is The Warriors.
Oh, Warriors.
Warriors, come out and play. I love The Warriors, man. It's so fucking campy. This is like 70s cheese at its best, The Warriors. All the different groups that are hunting them. It's very, very 70s, but is actually based on a 1965 novel by Saul Urich, which itself is usually inspired by the Xenophon ancient Greek account Anabasis. So the baseball Furies are a winding literary road descended from stranded Greek mercenaries. So it's based on a Greek myth. Not the Odyssey, though. I love finding out where some of this shit comes from, man. It's funny. It's so funny. Like, I didn't know The Warriors was based on anything prior. This one we talked about before. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
This is one that I teach in my film appreciation class. So it was interesting when I was getting ready to teach said class to watch this video on where it came from and how Disney was like, yeah, let's pick that up. You know, after doing The Little Mermaid and the others at the time. It's like, really? That's where you want? And they're like, well, we can't do it under Disney's name. We're going to have to create a whole new studio called Touchstone. Was it Touchstone? It was Touchstone. Yeah.
Touchstone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because even though they sort of like Disney-fied the film, it still has some like darker adult moments. And some like scary imagery.
The book, though, the
book is
Who Censored Roger. Yeah.
So the book is actually the first in a series of novels. There's a couple novels about Roger Rabbit. Gary K. Wolfe's first novel, Who Censored Roger Rabbit. They're not cartoon animated movie stars like they are in the film. They're comic strip characters that live, side by side with humans, and they actually talk through speech balloons. So, like a comic strip would. And Who Censored Roger Rabbit is much darker, much more like based on the murder, and it's a noir story. It's a dark noir.
Well, yeah. You can't do that with it's gonna go see it.
Well, that's what I said. Like Kev said, like Disney bought it, so they had to kind of Disneyfy it a little bit.
And then based on the success, they did what was it? Cool.
Oh, Cool World.
Cool.
All right, so Cool World, which is another humans interacting with animated characters film, but in this case, it's about a writer played by Gabriel Byrne who gets injected into his own comic book.
Right.
And Brad Pitt is already living in the comic book for some reason. And there's all these animated characters, and it's a very dark murder mystery adult comic. And it was supposed to be a lot like filthier and dirtier and like more like debased. But Kim Basinger, who plays the animated character in the film, didn't like that idea, and she forced the studios to like tone it down. And the film ended up bombing.
Another actress to do the more dirty film.
Yeah. Yeah, right. They should have just fired her and kept it the way it was. Anyway, and I believe that's based on a book. Yes. And then short stories that became much bigger movies. So these are all long films based on very short works. First one is Arrival, which came out a few years back, stars Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams. It's about aliens that arrive on Earth, and she's a linguist who has to learn how to communicate with these aliens, and she learns that they communicate through time rather than language. Really good movie. Denis Villeneuve, who did the Dune films, it's one of his early American films. I like him as a director. It's a good movie, but it's based on a short novella. It's like the book is like this, and the script is like this. Like, it's a real stretch. It's Ted Chiang, who wrote a novella called The Story of Your Life. The film's emotional and linguistic core comes directly from the short story, but the movie adopted a more marketable title, The Arrival. Not to be confused with The Arrival starring Charlie Sheen from the 90s.
Where the aliens' legs just kind of bend backwards.
Yeah, it's where the aliens run like flamingos. I rewatched that recently.
Why?
Not, but when I say recently, I mean like when it's in the last year. I think it was like on I think it was on Pluto one day, like just playing on like live TV, and I was like, I haven't seen that in a while, and I caught like the end, which is the best part anyway, and I was like, man, this movie is worse than I remember it being. Let me watch The Arrival with Amy Adams instead. Total Recall, one of my favorite Arnold movies.
Get your Ostamas.
This one's on Pluto TV like every day. This one's like always on. But it's loosely based on a Philip K. Dick story called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. The original story provides the implanted memory premise, but the movie adds considerably more Mars, more gunfire, and more Schwarzenegger-shaped architecture. Yeah, it's less get your ass to Mars than it is, dealing with the ramifications of these implanted memories.
The main thing is there a 3-titted woman in the book?
There is not a 3-titty woman in the book. The three-titted woman came from the twisted mind of Paul Verhoeven, who also directed RoboCop and Starship Troopers.
He just wanted to see if the effects department would do it. It was kind of a dare.
We're talking about a man who also directed Showgirls. You knew there was going to be a three-titted woman in the Mars movie. I love Total Recall, though. It's one of my favorite Arnold films. Another Philip K. Dick story, Minority Report, based on a short story called The Minority Report. The film stars Tom Cruise. It's a good movie. It's Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell. He's really good in it. It's a Spielberg film. Did really well at the box office. But the central idea of arresting people before they commit crimes comes from the short story. Spielberg greatly expanded the world and the characters, obviously. I've never read the short story. I'd be curious to read it and see how similar it is. Yeah. I've read the other one, that We Can Remember For You Wholesale, which is a lot different. I've also read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the book that's the basis for Blade Runner, which is another Philip K. Dick book. Candyman, the Clive Barker story movie. He wrote the short story himself. So Clive Barker has done this before. He wrote a book called The Hellbound Heart, which was the basis for Hellraiser. He's written the books for this one, The Forbidden, which became the Candyman. So he's done that in the past. He's written his short stories and then directed the films. The film relocates the story from Chicago, whereas the original story takes place in Liverpool, and reinvents the title character. I have not read the short story, so I don't know how different it is, but just don't say Candyman in the mirror 5 times. Rear Window, the Hitchcock classic, starring Jimmy Stewart, is based on the Cornell Woolrich short story It Had to Be Murder. Takes a lean suspense tale and turns it into one of cinema's definitive arguments against minding your own business.
And I swear, any kind of detective show like Castle has done a version of this.
Oh, yeah. They actually, I remember Christopher Reeve did a remake of this for TV after he had his accident. So it was kind of like him acting from the wheelchair, but doing like his version of this story, Rear Window. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's one of those stories that's become the mold for so many other like detective stories.
It almost got to the point of being like, It's a Wonderful Life. Everybody has to do it. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Including Nick Cage. The last one I have here is The Thing. The John Carpenter Thing is based on a 50s film called The Thing from Another World, which itself is based on a novella called Who Goes There? From 1952, I believe.
Land Shark.
Land Shark. The source has been produced into multiple adaptations, including, as I said, the John Carpenter Paranoia masterpiece. That I believe they are working on a sequel to The Thing now.
Didn't they do a prequel to The Thing
with Elizabeth Winstead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a great film. It was interesting seeing like a lot of the stuff that you see in the base in the original film. You kind of see how it becomes that in the prequel.
Okay.
But one of the things that I didn't like was they used practical effects for it like they did in the original film.
Yeah.
And the studio was like, no, we want to put CGI in there.
Oh.
And the CGI just fucking ruined it because it's so terrible. But yeah, I read the novel that it's weird because this is one of those things where like the novel, the first movie, and the second movie are so different from each other that it's like you would never know. And then I have a few honorable mentions here. Field of Dreams, one of my favorite baseball films, is based on a book by I can't think what's the writer's name.
Wasn't it the name of the character in the show?
Yeah, it's Kinsella. Ray Kinsella. Shoeless Joe is the name of the book. The Shawshank Redemption is based on a novella from Stephen King, an actual short book from Stephen King.
Look at this. Leo got a way to put Shawshank in this episode.
Not everybody knows that it's based on a novella called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption.
There was another short story called The Body. I believe they made that into a movie too.
The Body is Stand By Me.
Yeah.
There's also The Mist was a movie that was based on a short story of his. Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
could do a whole episode on Stephen King movies
or a television show called Haven, based on a Stephen King novel.
on Stephen King story. Yeah. And then there's The Godfather.
Yes.
I think a lot of people probably know this is based on a book, but I thought I'd include it anyway. And then the last one here is the one that pisses me off the most. Go ahead, Kev. What were you going to say?
I was just going to add one to the end of yours, but you go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you got to add yours first.
No, there was one called The Box. It was a movie, came out in 2009.
Mhm.
Cameron Diaz,
Was that Frank Langella?
Frank Langella,
Yeah.
right? And that was based off of a short story called Button Button by Richard Matheson, who's done things like he's written some things for The Twilight Zone, but he also did What Dreams May Come and Stir of Echoes. And it's the concept of, there's somebody who approaches you, they offer you can either press this button and receive $1 million, but somebody you don't know somewhere is going to die, or don't, and they really flushed out. I mean, it's a very short story about it. It's like a couple of pages, and they made an entire movie out of it. Really,
I remember College Humor did a spoof of that movie where like the guy comes in and he puts the button down and he goes, if you press this button, you get $1 million, but somebody in the world, somebody you don't know somewhere in the world dies. And the guy goes, okay, hits the button real quick. He's like, don't you want to think about it? And he's like, no, I want $1 million. Fuck that guy. The last one I have here is World War Z.
They only share the title.
That's exactly why I brought it up. The book is one of the best books I ever read. It is one of my favorite novels. It is written by Max Brooks, who is the son of Mel Brooks, believe it or not. And the book is told, it's stories told by the survivors of the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
And every chapter is a different story. It's fucking phenomenal. It was turned into a run-of-the-mill zombie film with Brad Pitt that shares nothing but the title.
Yes.
So that was that. So that was our list. If there's anything that we missed that you think we should have talked about, make sure you send us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, or send us a message on one of our other socials, or text us. Mike, you have any beer trivia this evening?
I did. Did you guys know that Indian Pale Ale IPA wasn't invented in India? It was brewed in England with extra hops and alcohol to survive the long sea voyage to British troops stationed in India.
Something else we could blame England for.
So, I mean, it all comes back to the East India Tea Company.
Basically, yeah.
Pretty much what it is.
To survive the long voyage, we made it extra bitter. We have a cinema quote of the week.
Movies are like expensive forms of therapy for me.
Why does your Tim Burton sound like,
I know it sounds a lot
like Woody Allen?
Woody Allen. But Tim Burton's got that kind of voice. It's, very squeaky.
I'll
Maybe
take your word for it.
Too much New York. Anyway, movies are like an expensive form of therapy for me.
I mean, that is a very Tim Burton quote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of, so I got like a somewhat adjacent Tim Burton. I watched the first episode of Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, the Big Bang Theory spinoff. And it was okay. When you watch it, though, the opening theme song, during the song, it begs you not to skip the opening theme. It just like all these messages pop up. It's like, it's worth it. Trust us. Believe us. Keep watching. Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end it goes, this theme song was written by Danny Elfman. Wasn't that worth the wait? So, and honestly, that was probably the funniest joke in the whole episode.
Damn. That's not saying a lot then.
I mean, it was only the first one. I'll watch the second one. I'm going to give it a chance, but it wasn't like a great start. So, how are our drinks this evening, gentlemen?
Very good.
Good, not strong enough, but
not strong enough for the week ahead.
Not at all.
I had a Sam Adams Summer Ale, which never goes wrong, and I had a second one, and that was just as good.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, Mike, you had
the Little Kugel Lodge Lime.
How was that?
Very limey.
Very limey.
Yes, good though.
Is it like Corona limey or like Bud Light limey?
Corona limey, because it's actually a Mexican style lager.
Okay.
Lime. Yeah.
I'll never tried it. I like Line and Kugel, so that sounds like it's pretty good. So thank you for joining us tonight for episode 248. Wait, that was a book. We hope you enjoyed listening to the episode as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Again, you can email us at filmsoffermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsoffermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links. Text us at 904-867-4466 or join us on Patreon at patreon.com/filmsoffermentation for members only content. Don't forget to stop by the Crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around for episode 249. Great first performances. In this episode, we're going to be looking at actors, actresses, and directors who had awesome debut performances, but then whose careers kind of fell off after that. That should be an interesting episode. In the meantime, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
This has been the Films of Fermentation podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.